Please welcome Toastmaster Sam Konkol. Sam is a 19-year-old aspiring cellist, entrepreneur, cello instructor, speaker, and author of the book 10 Steps to a Brighter Future, a Middle School Guide. Wow. Before embarking on a national speaking tour, he launched a Kickstarter campaign and raised $12 grand to underwrite the printing costs of 10,000 copies of his new book in order to provide a free copy to every student he spoke to. Sam created a cello scholarship program for elementary students and raised funds to purchase 6 cellos, one for each scholarship recipient. He placed first in state cello competition and currently studies cellist Grace Gavin in Orlando, Florida. Samuel currently attends Rollins College in Winter Park. Let's give a warm welcome to Toastmaster Samuel Konkol.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests.
Good morning.
My name is Samuel Konkol, and it is an honor to speak before you today. I understand that it's my job to introduce myself during my Icebreaker speech. However, I'd like to first introduce one of my heroes, the world-famous violinist, Itzhak Perlman. It was November 18th, 1995, and Itzhak Perlman, the violinist, came on stage to play a concert at Lincoln Center in New York City. If you know anything about Itzhak Perlman, chances are you know that as a child he was diagnosed with polio. Because of his condition, he walks with 2 braces, one on each leg, and with the aid of 2 crutches. To see him walk across the stage, one step at a time, is a miraculous sight. He sits down slowly, puts his crutches on the floor. He undoes each of the clasps on his legs. He tucks one foot back and then extends the other one forward. He then bends down to pick up his violin, puts it under his chin, closes his eyes, and signals to the conductor to begin. By now, his audiences are used to this ritual. They sit quietly while he makes his way across the stage, and they wait patiently until he's ready to play. But this time, something went wrong. Just as he finished the first few bars, one of the strings on his violin broke. You could hear it snap as it went off like gunfire across the room. There was no mistaking what that sound meant. Everyone assumed he would have to get up from his chair, limp off stage to go and find another violin. But you know what? He didn't. Instead, he waited a moment, closed his eyes, and then signaled to the conductor to begin yet again. He played from where he had left off, with such passion, and such power, and such purity, that the audience had never heard before. When he was finished, there was an unbreakable silence that swept across the room. And then all at once, the audience arose and cheered. He smiled, he wiped the sweat from his brow, and then he raised his bow as to quiet the audience. And then he said, not boastfully, but in a quiet, pensive, and reverent tone, "You know, sometimes it is the artist's task to make music with what we have left." Just 7 years ago, I graduated from the 5th grade. Although, to be honest with you, when I was in 5th grade, I was not the model student.
No.
Although I didn't struggle with a debilitating disease, I did struggle with many things, like staying focused and completing any of my assignments. Once I entered middle school, things just got worse. All through middle school, I kept falling behind the rest of my class, and eventually, I just gave up. While in middle school, as I was getting C's, D's, and the occasional F, I started playing the cello. And not long after, I realized that I could be good at something. And that something was music. When I first began playing the cello, it wasn't easy. My cello squeaked and it squawked and it made all sorts of weird noises. Every time I practiced, the dogs in the neighborhood would begin to howl, and my siblings would beg me to stop playing. But you know what? I just kept practicing. Every day for hours, I would sit in my room and practice playing the open strings on my instrument. And as I mentioned before, at first it wasn't easy. But day after day it became more comfortable for me to play, until I could play with confidence and ease. All of my hard work and dedication finally paid off on October 11th, 2015. I walked out on stage in Carnegie Hall, one step at a time. I took a bow before the audience before playing the final movement of Joseph Haydn's cello concerto in C major. You know, looking back on that experience has made me realize that if I set my mind to it, I can accomplish anything. You know, this morning I want to encourage each and every one of you that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything you dream of. After my first year of playing the cello in middle school, I began to realize that I could accomplish anything that I set my mind to. And it was with that idea, and after entering high school, that I began writing my first book. After many long months of hard work, I published that book, entitled 10 Steps to a Brighter Future, a Middle School Guide. In my book, I lead students step by step through the must-know topics of creating a brighter future. Some of those topics include using your imagination, finding someone to look up to, and pursuing mastery. You know, part of the reason I wrote that book was to help other students succeed and dream big. But the main reason I wrote that book was to help myself succeed and dream big. You know, a poet and a scholar once said, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. And if you can dream it, you can become it. My name is Samuel Konkol, and I'm a dreamer. Are you? Thank you.